is very appropriate. And for me, it means two things. It means the ability to operate at your fullest capability. Your fullest capability, your, what we call your comparative advantage. So whatever that is, being able to exploit that at its fullest level, and then to have a way to provide a mutual beneficial connection. See, so many times we say we at our fullest, we operate at a full throttle, but it's normally not to our benefit. So I'm gonna show you something. I used to tell gang leaders this when I would, try to negotiate peace treaties. I would tell them, now watch this. I would say, man, people are studying you like you Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Look how they walk. Look how they talk. Look how they move. And they in their own habit, Right. I said, people are studying you like you Bigfoot, man. And those who are studying you, they are paid to study you. Those who lock you up are paid to lock you up. Those who arraign you are paid to be lawyers. Those who sentence you paid for judges, and they paying for all their family to do all this stuff because of you. And the only one who does not, and then you getting shot and arrested being you. I would tell them the only one who does not value being you is you. You are a valuable commodity with a market advantage, but you don't understand the market. So even though you're operating at your fullest bloom in a vacuum, I can plant you in an orchid. I can plant you in a way that your beauty will go into full bloom. And these guys would say, man, how can you do that? And that's how we would start these kinds of conversations about having mutual beneficial opportunity, because it does nothing for the human spirit to say, I'm only a dispenser and I can't get poured back into. So you start choosing flawed methodology to pour back into yourself. And that's when you get this kind of egregious hidden rage that erupts when you have these kinds of sparks that we have it now.
Bishop, you and I, as you alluded to, we've done a lot of work in Dallas for many years. And I think the other day when we were together, we said we're going to stop counting the years because it's just adding up to be too many. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the protests we've seen here in Dallas, and also how you feel like law enforcement has responded to those protests.
I was just on a call earlier about the Dallas Police Department, and I'm gonna tell you, just personally, I'm a fan of Chief Hall. I think she's a great sister. I'm pulling that she does right. But everybody, Chief, me, all of us who are in positions, whatever the position it has, be held accountable. And I think she is, but you got to do that. Now, let me say something about the protest. I believe that there is no greater right in America than this free expression. They should be protesting. We should have intermingled protests. It shouldn't be, well, this is where all of the calm people are, but this is where all of the right. It should be a mixture of protests, because that's important so that we can state the facts. Activists are important to our development. Now, so I think that's good. Now, those who are looting and all that, man, let me say this too, Shane. You know this piece. See, man, when you have a person, say if a mother just found out that their son was killed, and she's screaming and hollering and all that, and I've been through that many times. The most insensitive thing to do is to say, "Hey, ma'am, can you keep it down a little bit?"
Right.
You can't say that. So the rage is coming from a real place. Now, those who are looting and this, you can easily pick them off and say, "Hey, bro, you use this as an opportunity." So I don't let them define the real rage. So that's one. Now, with the police, I think that the police, because I've been at several of the protesting. I was out there with the protesters. They were not. Those who I encountered, both black and white, were not unreasonable. They were not irresponsible. I think that there are, just like in the protest, there are some looters. I think there are some individuals inside of DPD that would love to use this as an opportunity to handle their aggression. But those persons can be targeted and removed, because for the most part, they have been trying to operate in a certain sense of calmness. It's just, I think some of them are underdeveloped too. So they don't know what to do.
This is Deconstructing Dallas, Shawn Williams, Ryan Trimble. I am, and we are with Bishop Omar Jahwar from Urban Specialist. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about an article, a column that Bishop Omar wrote in the USA Today with Brian Hooks. So hang with us after the break. We'll be right back. This is Deconstructing Dallas. Welcome back. Deconstructing Dallas, Shawn Williams, Ryan Trimble. We are with Bishop Omar Jahwar, founder of Urban Specialist, which is headquartered here in Dallas. Bishop, you recently co-wrote a piece in the USA Today with Brian Hooks. He's the CEO of Stand Together, and that is a philanthropic community that's founded by Charles Koch. You know, now I know it's going to be some people who probably just stopped the recording and jumped out just because we talked about Mr. Koch and might be through with us. But yet you have been able to find common ground to work with conservatives on common issues. So can you tell me, I just want to first know about this partnership and other partnerships you've had with some conservatives.
Yeah, man. You know, we have found that when we really try to look for mutual beneficial ideas, we can have polarized views of our political landscape, but there could be two or three things that we agree on. And see, I've been in a world where negotiation and finding common ground is necessary. See, when you're saying you're dealing with gang members and all that, I've had to meet with the Aryan Brotherhood, the Mexican Mafia, the Latin Kings, the Folks, the People Nation, the Black Guerrilla Family, the Crips, the Bloods. You know, I've had to do it. So for me, it has never been about, you know, a side that I could not say, this is what we have to do. And are you willing to do that? And am I willing to do it? So with conservative groups, I've had some great connections, just like I've had with some very liberal groups. But Charles Koch is a friend. I want to be very honest. Not just a colleague, we are friends. Charles, Chase, Elizabeth, Liz. And we've had some real serious discussions about things we disagree on. But what he says is, Omar, I will partner with anyone to do good and no one to do evil. And, you know, his North Star is the ideas of Frederick Douglass and stuff like that. And so when we have some disagreements on states, this and blah, 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 we can say it and it's real, but we agree fiercely on this, that there should not be marginalized citizenship for black folk. That's wrong. There should not be generational poverty. That's wrong. Violence should not be the language of our communities. That's wrong. And there are ways to unleash the potential of those who have been trapped too long. See, those kinds of things we agree on without any question, and that's where we land. And so we were able to find common ground with him, Paul Ryan, and other people. But, you know, I find that same kind of common ground with Eddie Bernice Johnson and Mayor Ron Kirk and other folks. So it doesn't matter to me who, because I'm gonna be at it regardless. So because I believe in the power of those OGs and other things, that the cultural challenges that we have. But this article was a piece of the mind of Brian Hooks, who is a brilliant guy. He's the CEO. He's the strategist of the whole Stand Together philanthropic community, and myself, because we found that there were ways that we could talk about these very powerful issues about race, and we could stand on that. You know, in the hood, you say you stand on your square. We could stand on that square together and be serious.
Yeah, Bishop, it's good to know that you and others are putting aside political differences to really dig in and dive into this discussion. I think it's what needs to happen in our country. And you kind of dive into this in the penultimate paragraph of your editorial, and you pose the question: can we live with the social institutions that don't live up to our ideals? So, would you say that you are in your conversations with Mr. Koch and your colleagues on all the spectrums of all parts of the political spectrum? What ideals should we be striving for? What are we striving for? And are we going to be able to find some common ground on these ideals?
Well, that's a good question, because, man, that is such a, let me say this, because I don't get too emotional, because I want to show you something. If there's a video in South Carolina where the police were going towards the protesters going toward the police, very real moment, everybody's, high intense, and the police got on their knees, and then the protesters got on their knees, and they ended up hugging and crying and talking, because I know that was a stressor. That was a stress test, man. And then that's very anecdotal. That's very spontaneous, but I think it speaks to there is common ground even when there's an uncommon challenge. So I know that dealing with, Stand Together community, which does great work throughout the nation, dealing with the Koch network that has the business acumen to change society through business and through that opportunity. There is a way for us to really, really forge real strides that will make us say, okay, we put in the work, and here are the results.
So, Bishop, referring back to the article again, and we'll make sure to put notes in our show notes. We'll put links to the article. But you and Mr. Hook say that changing laws, while necessary, is woefully inefficient. And you say that justice is written on the hearts of human beings, and that without change of heart, a law can only do so much. So I want to know what get your thoughts on this change of heart that you feel like people need to have, because I know the work that you've done specifically in criminal justice reform and trying to get different laws and on the book. So talk about the change of heart portion.
Yeah, Shawn, that's just, you got it. That's the linchpin of our whole deal, is that laws can only do so much. And I'm gonna tell you, man, the only way you change your heart, the only way our heart is truly transformed, because one of our guiding principles is transformation. We truly believe that folks can be transformed. But the only way you do that is you have to get close enough to the individual that you are trying to serve or be served by, so that you guys can exchange vulnerability. See, I can really, really, really say, boy, I don't like Shawn, until I realize you have a pilot's license and the plane is going down, and you my last hope. It's different. I say, boy, I'm putting for Shawn,
Right.
See, mutual vulnerability starts exchanging heart. Some people don't understand that, you and your wife or your girlfriend or your whomever don't share the same blood, but y'all share mutual vulnerability that makes you even closer to that person than the person that shares your blood, your mother, your father. So that's how you start saying, this is how we change the heart. We got to get close enough to each other to where it's a natural next step.
Well, Bishop, it's certainly a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm looking forward to staying in touch and getting involved and being a part of the conversation myself. If our listeners wanted to follow you, I know you mentioned it in the open. If our listeners want to follow you or get involved with your organizations, where can we find you?
Well, you can first thank you guys for having me on. This has been great. Enjoyed it. Thank you. But they can follow me on Omar Jahwar, OmarJahwar, OmarJahwar.com. Go on all of the social media platforms. We're on there, Bishop Omar Jahwar. And they can also, our urban specialist stuff, OG Movement, just connect through our portals through OmarJahwar.com. You'll get to all of that all those other initiatives that we have, because we got a few that's in the hopper that we're very, very, very excited about.
Well, we appreciate you, and I know, we're going to be working together some more soon. So I just want to, let you know how much we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. And I appreciate you. And keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Y'all just, you don't know how a calm voice and a reassuring voice